Nigel Saunders here. We've had our first really good snow. It's November 15th, and so it's time to put these trees away for the winter inside the basement. We're going to go inside now and do some work on tropical trees. So we're indoors now, and on my ficus tree I noticed scale insects. Some of the leaves were getting this black sooty mold on them, and that's a sign you either have aphids or scale insects. What they do is they suck the sap out of the branches and the leaves, and they excrete honeydew, which drips down on the leaves, and the sugary honeydew creates like a black sooty mold on the leaves. So what I've been doing, I've been going in. I use this magnifying glass, which has a light on the back side of it. Hopefully you can see that. And I go in and I examine every branch and every leaf, and I scrape the scale insects off. And once you've done that, it takes quite a while. I've been going on this tree probably 3 hours now, and I'm not done yet. So we'll zoom in and have a look at some of this. And after that, then we'll spray it with soap and water, and then I'll take a toothbrush and I'll clean the black sooty stuff off the leaves and put it back in the plant room. And I'll have to check every tree in the plant room for scale and do the same thing to each tree, so it'll take quite a while. But when you have that many plants in a confined area, you're going to get problems with aphids and scale insects and spider mites. So it's just part of growing bonsai is dealing with pests all the time. So we're looking through the magnifying glass now, and we're going to zoom in. And you can see what a nice close-up view you can get of the trees. You can kind of pan around. I don't know if that's in focus or not. Maybe about there. Is that in focus? Okay, so let's go in and we'll look for scale insects. Now, I can't see exactly what the camera's seeing here. Right about here is where we're at. So what you want to do is zoom in and check for scale insects and just scrape the shells off. Just like so. Check the undersides of the leaves all along the branches. They're hard to spot because they're the same color as the branches and they kind of blend in. So you've got to really look carefully. That's why I use the magnifying glass. So, now where was that? Here. You can see there's a little scale insect on the junction here. Just scrape that off. Some of the branches here. There we go. So you just need some kind of sharp tool to kind of scrape the shells off. Hi, so it's been about 4 hours of picking at all the scale insects, and I think I've probably got 98% of them, I hope. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get every one. I mean, every time you turn a branch or look at it from a different angle, you see a new scale insect on the one side that you missed, and so you've kind of got to methodically pick one branch and do that branch and go on to the next branch and do that branch thoroughly. Yeah, so do it in stages, do each branch at a time. It does take a long time, but I think it's the only way to really get rid of scale insects. So I've got them all picked off now. So the next step is to spray the tree with the soap and water. So the mixture is 40 parts water to 1 part dish detergent or liquid soap. And what we want to do is then spray the tree thoroughly top to bottom. And you want to get under the leaves, all over the branches, because the live scale insects and any other insects could be anywhere in your tree. They could be crawling on the trunk, they could be crawling on the branches. And then once we sprayed the tree down, what we want to do is get all this black sooty mold off the leaves. So we take a toothbrush and we just give each leaf a clean while the soap's on it. And it's not that the black sooty mold is that harmful to your tree. It's just it cuts down the amount of photosynthesis you'll get to your tree through the leaves. So it's like putting a filter on top of your leaf. It's just not as efficient. So we want all our leaves generating as much energy for the tree as we can get. So that's why we're cleaning them all down. Also, the scrubbing, if there are any little tiny scale insects that have started on your leaves, typically on the underside of the leaves you'll get scale insects that are forming. You can give those a scrub, the undersides too, and you'll scrape off all the little tiny scale insects that are just too hard to pick off manually. When you're cleaning your leaves, when the honeydew drips down, it's usually the lower leaves that get the worst coverage, so they turn the blackest. And that's naturally the weakest area of the tree, is the lower branches. So it's important to clean them and keep them as efficient as possible, because they don't have a lot of vigor anyway, these lower branches. All the vigor goes to the top of the tree. So anything you can do to keep these lower branches healthy and growing as strong as possible just helps the tree in shaping it and keeping these lower branches really healthy and growing. So I'm taking extra special care in cleaning all these lower leaves to make sure they're really efficient. That's getting there. Give it another spray here. I have some black ones here that I'm cleaning. And the tree's looking brighter now. I'm cleaning all this black sooty stuff off the leaves. And another reason for cleaning your leaves is that when they are clean, if you do get more problems with scale or aphids, you'll see the black sooty stuff forming on the leaves and you'll know there's a problem again. If your leaves are dirty to begin with, it's harder to notice when things are going wrong with your trees. If you go to the channel and check the playlists, you have to click on the tab playlist because all the playlists don't show on the main page. And if you click under the Healthy Trees one, you'll see some other people's formula for scale, and some people use canola oil mixed with water. Some people use alcohol. So I've added some various videos to that playlist so you can get some other ideas for dealing with scale. And I just use soap and water, but you know, canola oil works just as well. yeah, so check out the playlist tab on the channel, and you'll see a lot of playlists that don't show up on the main page, including some of the tree progressions and that kind of thing. Okay, so I finished cleaning all the leaves, and the tree looks a lot better now. It looks greener and brighter, and I think the tree's smiling a lot. It's had its spa day today. We took all the scale insects off, cleaned all the leaves, sprayed it down with soap and water. So yeah, it'll go back in the plant room, and I'll do this with all my other trees. I'll check them out in here under the magnifying glass and check for insects and treat them. And because there's no point putting your tree back in your plant room or greenhouse. If one tree has problems, it means probably other ones will too. So inspect all your trees and clean them all up. So this whole process has taken probably 5 hours for one tree. And there's a question, can you have too many bonsai trees? Yes. If you never have a problem with your trees, if they're growing healthily, no insect problems, you can have a lot of trees. But once a problem does strike, like you get aphids and scale insects, and you've got to start going in to each tree and treating them, cleaning them up, you start to realize that you can have too many bonsai trees. If you don't have the time to go in and treat each tree, you'll find that trees on your branches will get worse and worse, and some of them will start dying off. And that's a good sign you have too many trees. So it's best to keep a moderate amount. If you have a moderate number of trees, you have the time to take care of each tree really well. And it's better to take care of a few trees really well than have a lot of trees in your collection that are mediocre and not very well cared for. Okay, so spa day is over. The tree's happy. I'm happy. We'll see you next time.